G'day folks, in this video I'll show you how you can solve this crazy Pyraminx crystal. Now this puzzle is obviously the crazy version of the standard Pyraminx crystal, so it's got the circles here which creates a whole bunch of new pieces. On the Pyraminx crystal, these pieces here, the green, the grey, yellow and the green form one piece, and this corner and these circle corners also form one piece. So just adding in those circles creates a whole new challenge here. And I think I've sort of seen some people say, oh, it's fairly straightforward. I personally did not find it very straightforward at the beginning. In fact, I found it quite bamboozling. I was looking at it I think the colors, and I don't know what happened. My brain perhaps switched off. But at the end of the day, it's not too bad as long as you take a really structured and logical approach, particularly to the first part, which is going to be placing the circle corners. Now let's get into that. And what we want to do here is just note that on this circle version, all the faces are zero faces. So as I turn that outer collar, the center parts stay fixed. And that happens on every single face. Now let's have a look at a circle corner. So if I look at the pieces, I've got an outer corner, a circle corner, I've got an outer edge and a circle edge. So there are 4 piece types, and I'm going to solve them essentially one at a time. If I have a look at a circle corner piece, let's take this grey and yellow. I note that if I turn that grey, the yellow turns with it. Wherever that grey goes, the yellow goes. And in fact, if I don't turn it, well, the yellow stays there as well. And in fact, on this puzzle, with all zero faces, there's no way to separate those 2 pieces. So the grey and the yellow is essentially one circle corner piece with 2 parts. And that helps a lot, because it might seem like we're solving 60 of these things, but actually we're only solving 30. Every time we place one, we've automatically placed a second one. So the first thing I want to do, I want to solve the white face first and build it up from there. Locate my white center, and you can see the centers in the faces there. Locate that white center and think about, how do these pieces place? You'll see that there is actually a white circle corner there, and ordinarily we'd go, beauty, one done. However, we look up here and it's a pink, whereas it should be an orange. So that is not the correct circle corner in that position. So what we want to do here is get a white circle corner onto the top face initially. I've got one here. It's white, it happens to be white green. Okay, let's just have a look at the pathway of, say, a circle corner piece from this white face. If I turn that, I'm going to turn it firstly up to there, it's the purple one. Next up to there, you can see it never reaches the top face. However, it's now in a position to have something placed into it. And if you look at where that is, it's that orange piece. So I'll just put that back. That orange piece sort of corresponds to this purple piece here. That's what I want. And if I was doing it on this side, I'd turn it up in the same way, and it would be that, that green piece there. So this is, or in fact, I'm just holding it slightly wrong. Let's hold it like that. I've turned that up to there. It's that orange piece. If I turn this green piece up in the same manner, it's actually going to be this yellow one over here. So there's one in the middle that doesn't concern us. Okay. So once I've got a white circle corner on the top, it's white green, I want to figure out, where does it actually belong? There or there or there or there or there. So I go and have a look at the position. Here it is, white green belongs here. So let's say that I want to turn up this purple blue piece. I'm going to be turning that up like that. That means I need the white to be in this orange position before I start. Now the way to get a piece that's on the top to another position is pretty straightforward. I want to turn it down so that it goes to this upper layer. Now, there's only one way that it'll work if I turn that face, because if I turn the face the other way, you'll see that the white part has actually gone below that upper layer. So I just need to go up. It's sort of a bit further that way. So I'll turn it down like this and I move it around one turn. Then when I turn it back up, that white piece has traveled from here to here. That's actually what I wanted. So now, because it's the white green, I want to place it into this position here. I'll turn the position up, put the white green on, and undo. You can see white, green, perfect. That is now correctly placed. Next, I would look and just see, are there any other whites on here? No, there aren't. And at this stage, I can be fairly cavalier in getting pieces where I want them. There's a white circle corner here. I can very simply just turn it up to the top. And that's a white pale yellow. Let's have a look where that belongs. The whites here, my pale yellow face is that one there. So it belongs in this position. So I either want it here, where it is, or here, if it's coming up the other way. So it's coming up this way. So I will now turn its position up, put it onto its position, and undo. And you'll see that not only is the white placed, but so is that yellow. So that's 2 done. It does get a little bit confusing because you look at this and go, maybe I've got 3 done. Well, that's definitely done. That white green's done. The white pink is the one initially that was in the wrong place. So that's actually not done. Let's have a look and see, well, how did we get that white pink where we want it? Well, we can sort of reverse what we did. Just do that sort of thing. Put it up on the white face. Again, at this stage, nothing really has been done, so we're not going to affect stuff. White, pink, that belongs in this position, corresponding with the pink face there. So I've got to have it in, well, really, let's have a look. Probably over here. So let's turn it 2 to the left. So I'll bring it down. Sorry, when I say left, I mean, what do I mean? 2 that way. 2 that way. And then I'll turn it up into the position that I want. Okay. Now I can turn that up, put the piece on, undo. And the white pink is correctly placed. And you'll notice, of course, this is why there's really only 30 to think about, not 60, because as I place that white, I've automatically placed that pink piece as well. Let's see what else we can find. I've got a white orange here. So let's go ahead and just, what I don't want to do is disrupt this white yellow that I've done. So I'll just sort of think, well, I'll turn it up to that position. The white yellow's there. So now I can turn it up to that face, put the white yellow back. Okay, the white orange is there. I can just turn that around so the white's on the top. Let's see where that belongs. Belongs here. And so, in fact, did I turn it to the top? Yes, I did. It's right there. Okay, just going blind there for a minute. So I need to turn that 2 around again. Let's turn it 2 this way, and I'll show you bringing it up this side as well, because that's also perfectly reasonable. So if I want to turn it around 2 in this direction, I'm going to turn it down like that. Bring that around. And then when I turn it back up to the top, it is where I need it to be. Okay, so the white orange belongs here. So I'm going to turn its position up like that, put it onto its position, and undo. That white orange is in. That should be 4 of them. Just double checking. White green, white pink, and white yellow. Yep, just 1 to go. And that's the white blue. Now the white blue is sitting over here, kind of annoyingly on that lower layer. So again, I'm just going to turn it up and keep track of these white ones that I've already done. I'll turn it up to that position. Does that help? Not hugely, but I just need to be able to turn that white blue off, and I can turn it off because as I turn it off, those ones aren't touched. So I will turn it all the way there. So it is, and I've got to turn these back. That looks good, out of the way of those pieces. A move like that, I would always just have another little check, make sure I didn't accidentally dislodge something. Don't think I did. So where's that white blue? Okay, sitting here. Let's put that up. It belongs in this position, so I'll bring it round to here. And that is now ready to place. And all of those whites are now done. And of course, all of the corresponding pieces on these faces are also done. So that's the first little part of this stage. The next part is that I want to do these lower layer pieces here. So this is actually going to be like a red sitting there. If we follow where they're connected, these ones are actually connected to a lower face as well. So this one's going to be a red yellow, which is quite interesting. So as I do a red, I'll also get a yellow done. Now, slightly different approach here because they're not on the bottom. Let's see what's going on. I noticed that that position there, if I turn that up, I think about what that was. It was the blue piece there. Where does that go? It goes to here. Not quite far enough. I can put it there and then I can put a piece onto it. So that's the sort of approach that I want here. And if we think about, what about the white piece? As long as I turn this down and do a 4-move sequence, the white pieces are not going to be affected. Now, is there potentially another way? Not really, because that's, I mean, if we think about it, we can't turn that face there because it doesn't actually turn the blue. So the only real pathway is to move it up in that position there. So let's locate a piece that we need and we'll get it on the top face. And I like to call these sort of the strong colors. I got blue, red, green. That really should be a darker purple and a yellow. Okay, so these are my lower layer colors. So I'm looking for a piece that fulfills that. So that blue orange doesn't, because the blue, yes, but not the orange. The blue purple, there's one. So let's get the blue purple with either of them on the top face. I've also got a yellow here, but it's a yellow blue. Yeah, so nothing else sitting there. So that blue purple, I'll just turn it up so the blue is on the top face. Okay, now I want, because the blue's on the top face, it's either going to be this one or this one. I've got to just check, where's it going? It's going over here, so it sits in this left position. So because it's sitting in that left position, when I place the blue here, the purple will automatically place. Okay, so let's again think about what is going to happen when I place this. I turn the position up. It's got the green at the moment. I turn it up to there. Now, when I put the piece on, you'll notice that I'm going to be turning this face and those two white pieces do not move. That's why this will work. Where does the blue piece of the blue purple need to be to place? Well, it needs to be where that pale yellow is now. So I'm going to put these back and just ponder what we're doing here. That's the position I'm trying to fill. So if I hold it like this, it's on the left, and I said that the blue needed to be in that pale yellow spot. So basically, if you're looking at the puzzle like this and you hold it the bottom left, you kind of travel up here, it's the top left. That's the position. Now the blue piece that I want is sitting right at the center, so I need to move it around one. So I'm going to do the same thing. From now on, I can't be quite as cavalier with my approach. So I want to, if I do turn it like this and then move it around one position, I want to undo those moves all the time. Certainly this one that comes back to here, because I don't want to disrupt things that I might end up doing, which I soon will have. Okay, so the blue piece that I had is now able to be turned up, and just having a look at it, you can see why I want to do this. Just imagine that I had some of these done. If I turn that blue piece up, it knocks them out. Now at the moment, I can still just turn that one up because it does not affect the ones that I'm currently doing. So that is okay. Okay, the blue purple is now in the correct position. So what I want to do is turn the position up with 2 turns, place the blue purple onto it, undo, and it's probably a good habit to undo that one as well, but it's not really necessary. Let's see what's happened. The blue is in and the purple is in. Also, all of the whites are still in their correct positions there. So that is the general approach. Being me, I do like to try and sort of work my way around. However, you can't always do that. So I've got a blue yellow here, which I reckon belongs there. Yes, it does. There's no real point trying to take that one out. I might as well actually place something else in here and it will take that out automatically. So I guess it's probably just as easy to look on the top and go, hey, there's a red green there. All right, where does that belong? That red green, well, actually, does it belong in precisely? No, it's not even the right piece because that green is not the right color. So abandon that. Let's have a look if there's anything else on the top. No. So what else have I got? Blue, orange, no. Purple, yellow, no. Blue, grey. No, nothing super obvious on the top. So they must be sort of in this region here. So let's have a look. See if we can find some of them. And remember, I'm just looking for those strong color combinations. And there's actually only 5 of them. Even though there's 10 pieces, because I've placed that blue, which one did I place? Yeah, that blue there. I've actually got that purple done as well. So maybe they're all down the bottom here because I can see a red, yellow is sitting there down in that bottom position. Green, orange, no. Green, grey, no. Okay, so they must be somewhere floating around. Here we go. There's a yellow, green. Okay, so there's my white face. I've got a yellow, green here. I can just sort of go, can I turn this up? Yes, I can because it's not affecting anything at the moment. So I've got the green, yellow on the top. That means I'm looking to place a green piece. Now that green is a green, blue. This green is my green, yellow. Okay, so it's got to go on the right here. So I think, where does it need to be? Again, if I'm turning this position up, it's to there, which means the green needs to be in that position. One turn around. Done that. And then I can turn it up into that position. Okay, now I'm ready to put the green. So I'll turn it up with 2 turns, then place that green onto it and undo. Let's just see, make sure that everything is looking good. Remember, that green is not done. That was a green grey, I think. So the blue, no, where is it? The blue purple is still fully done. I've got this green done. That's the general approach. I'm going to continue doing this because I want to make sure it's super clear. There's a red purple up the top here. Let's see. So the red's on the top. That's the red. It's going to the purple here, so it's got to go on the right. I think that might be exactly in position, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll turn its position up, put the red purple on, and undo. Perfect. You can see the red's done, the purple's done. There's actually going to only be like 4 of these bits left to do. In other words, I reckon 2 pieces. Let's see where they are. At this point, sometimes I end up just searching for the piece that I want, like looking at what it is, but I think I've just found a green blue here, which is good. So I'm going to turn that up so the blue's on the top. That's clearly got to be this piece. So it's coming from the right, which means it needs to be over in that position. 1 turn over. Okay, that's now ready. Position up, blue on, undo position. Good. The 2 blues are done, and therefore that purple is done, as is that green. What's another one I've got? This should be a red yellow. Let's see if we can find the red yellow. There it is. Let's turn this up to the top. It's got red on the top, so we're going to fill it in there. It's got to be on the left, which means it's got to be in that position. Just checking that. Yep, it's got to be in the position of the orange. It's got to come to that way. So I'll turn it around. And what on earth did I do then? I have to undo that. There we go. Now that red can be put there. The red yellow's sitting there. Position up, piece on, undo. And that's done. There'll only be, I think, 1 more done, or is that it? Oh, I think that's it. Looking around, every single color there is correct, which means that must be all of those pieces are done. So the next part of this is the next lot of pieces, which is the sort of, I don't know, equatorial pieces, if you like. And these pieces have, let me go to a face where it's not quite so confusing with those purples. I'll have a look at the yellows. These pieces will have one of these lower layer colors like a yellow and one of the upper layer colors like a light blue. Now, again, the first thing I want to do is find a piece that belongs here with its color on the top. So for example, I've got a yellow blue with the yellow on the top. That's exactly what I want. We're going to think now about how that is going to place. Where does it? It belongs in this position. So can I just turn it down there? I mean, I can to demonstrate where it belongs. And in fact, on that very first turn, I certainly can just turn it into that position. But I'm going to assume that I can't because I might have other pieces. Normally, if I have that one done, it would knock that out. So I've got to think, how am I going to deal with this? Well, if I want it directly above either of these where it's going. Now, if I turn it up in this direction, it's going to knock that yellow out. So before I start, I'm going to move the yellow down here and store it. You might say, how does that store it? Well, when I turn that face up, it doesn't move. Then I can turn the yellow piece on and undo. And that yellow blue is now placed. So again, you'll notice we always get two of these done every time we place a piece. Let's see what else is there. I've got a purple, pale yellow. That's good. Where does that belong? In this position. So I need it here. It's got to be turned 2 around that way. And now I really do want to turn everything back properly, including these bits here. From now on, I can't simply turn that up like that because it'll almost certainly knock out something that I have already done. In the early stages here, it may not, but it's going to start to. So instead of just turning it up, I want to put it on with a 3 cycle. In other words, I'll turn it up and then use another face to store it down there and then undo. And that undoing puts all this stuff back, undo. Now it's sitting up here in the place that it needs to be. Again, it's going on this side, so it's on the left. So I'm going to place it down here, but first I want to store that piece like so. Okay, purple's in. It's another one I've got. Blue, orange, that's definitely another one. That belongs in that position, so I need it here. It's got to come 2 that way. And again, I'm now going to turn it up into its position, but then store it while I undo that. Okay, so now I've got the blue-orange above where I want it. And that's done. That blue-yellow was already done. I don't know if I did it or what, but how many have I got? Don't know. Just keep working through them. What's on the top? Yellow-grey is not one of them because the grey is the top face. So that's no good. I've got a green-red here. The red needs to be on the top. And I've already done the 2 blues. So I'm actually just going to get this green-red out. I just want to be a little bit careful here because I'm going to need to get it out. I can't replace it with something else because it's not one of these ones that I'm currently doing. So I would just initially turn it up, see where it lands. You'll notice it brings the blue piece up, but that blue piece is still in the equator layer. So now I can just turn that red piece way off and put it back. It hasn't disrupted the blues. Now, the red-green, I think it was, or was it red-purple? No. Not red-purple. Red. Where is it? There, red-green. Red-green indeed. So now I need to get the red on the top. So again, put it up there like that. I guess for efficiency, I could check where it was on the bottom before I did this, but I don't really care that much. The red-green goes on the left, so it belongs in that position. So it needs to be here, and it's currently here. So move it round one slot. Okay, then put it up into that position. That's now there. And placed, and you'll notice as we're doing that, we're actually placing these pieces here as well. We've already got the green placed from the white there. I've just got this other green placed from this red. So by the time I finish these, those three on each of these upper faces will also be done. Okay. Got a couple of greens to do. I'm just looking for whatever's on the top at the moment. I've got a purple green. That's good. That belongs over here on the right. So I've got to move it to that position. That's now ready to go. Because it's coming up on the right this time, instead of turning this face up to grab it, I'm turning this face, and so I want to store the purple by turning it down to there. Like so. Yellow there, have I got that one on top? No, that's the yellow grey. And a red grey, grey blue, green pink. That's one that will work. And the green pink belongs on the left. Just checking the colours. And that green pink needs to come one turn this way. And I will now turn it up. And did I say it was going on the left? I did. Okay. So store it, position up, undo, undo. Got one red, one green, one yellow. Okay, 3 to go of this little layer. One green, one red, one yellow. I can't see any of them obviously on the top. There's a red blue here, so let's this time just see if we can figure out where it needs to go. The red blue, the red is going to be here, so it's going to go on the right, so it needs to be in that position. So the red needs to be there. Let's locate that. That's the red. If I turn it up to there, it's going to need to be turned one more around. So let's move it first and then turn it up into its position. Okay. That's done. Got a green and a yellow, I think, from memory. Just checking where my pieces are. There's the yellow pink. So again, let's check where that is going to need to go in that position. At the moment, I'm going to turn that up to there. So I need to bring it 2 turns this way before I start. Okay, now we're in the correct position. Like so, and I reckon there's only one more, that green one, and I think we're done. And as I demonstrated before, there's a pretty easy check for that if you think you are done. Let's locate this green. There it is, green-orange. Sitting here, where does it belong? It's got to go in that position. Is that the one? That is the one, that's perfect. So that's exactly where it belongs. Like that. Okay, green orange. Now turn it down, bring its position up and put it on. Now I reckon I'm done, but I'm going to check by looking at these upper layers and saying, do I have 3 of the same color on every layer? Yes, 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 yes. So definitely done. And you can see that at this point there's really only about, well, 5 greys to do and 5 along here. So we're on the home stretch of this stage. So what I want to do now is get the first 4 of these grey pieces done, any order, doesn't matter which order. So I'm going to, for example here, there's none on the top, that's okay. I've got a grey purple that belongs there. Now, all I really want to do is think, if it's on the side here, I could turn it up like that. Is that in the correct position? Well, it's going to turn up to there, so the grey would be there, which would be grey-red. So no, it's not. I need a grey-purple. So I need to turn this around so that when it turns up into position, it correctly places. Let's try that. Is that the grey-purple? The grey-purple, oh, look at that. Yes, it does. You can see it's also knocked that one out. I can't just obviously turn it straight up, but that is where it needs to be. So once I've got it in the correct location, I just want to turn it up to the top face with 4 moves. Now what that will do, we'll put the grey-purple in and also leave this other piece that you saw was knocked out there as well. I just want to find another grey piece here. There's a grey-blue. At the moment, that's going to go to that position, which is red. I need it to go 1 over, so I'll turn it 1 turn, and then I can turn that up into its position. Grey-blue's now in. Here's a grey-red. That's going to turn up to there, which is the yellow. It needs to go 2 to the right before I start. Okay, now I can place it. That's in, and as you can see, these pieces are completing at the same time. So that's 3 of them, just 1 more for now. Doesn't matter which one. Is there another grey piece here somewhere? There's a grey-green, beautiful. So that grey-green at the moment, if I turn it up to there, that's going into the yellow face. So I will need to go 2 around this way before I start. Now, all being well, I'm going to have 4 of these faces, 1, 2, 3, 4 complete, and a 5th one not yet complete, and obviously 4 grey pieces here. Nearly there for this first stage. And what I want to do now is use this 5th grey piece position to help place these upper layer pieces, and I want to do it very strategically. So there are 5 of these things to place. That one at the back, then I've got that one and that one, which are sort of on the back face, but they join to these faces here. That'll be 3 of them. That'll then leave 1 here, 1 here, and that one, the last 3 pieces that we can deal with. So this is the first one I want to do. This one happens to be, if I look at the colors, pink, blue. At the moment you can see that it's in its position, but it's flipped. So what I'd like to do is turn this upper layer around and just get that pink blue piece into this top position before I start. Doesn't really matter how I do it. So I could turn that pink up like that. And at this stage, I can't really use these others to turn it up because I'm going to end up knocking out greys. I'm pretty sure. If I turn that down, maybe I'm not. But I generally don't do that. What I will do is say I want the blue pink up to there, so I can see that it's got to turn up in that fashion. Okay, that being the case, I haven't done any of these things, so I can bring it off its position first and then put that position down, return it onto its position, and then turn it up. And the pink blue is where I now want it. None of the other grey pieces have been affected by that. Okay, now when I turn that pink blue down, I can either turn it that way using the sort of the left face, or I can turn it this way using the right face. So I just want to say, what's the correct turn? I've got to end up with the pink being over here and the blue being here. If I turn it down using the left face, I've got pink, blue, pink, blue, pink, blue. That is the correct thing that I want. So that's how I determine that. As I turn it down, the pink's going to land there. So I want the position of the pink to be here before I begin. That's going to require 2 turns before I start. So 2 turns to put the position, put that pink on, undo, undo. Let's see what that's accomplished. There's a pink there and a blue there. Beautiful. Next, either this one or that one. So I'm talking about both of them being pale yellow. So I would like a pale yellow piece of some kind in the top here, although it's not essential. So let's have a look. I've got a pale yellow green here. Now, if I was to turn that around, I can see that that does place perfectly into where it belongs. So in fact, that's not a bad idea to do. I want to involve this piece here. So I can't simply turn it around because it'll knock out the one I just did. So I've got the yellow green going to the grey yellow. And I also want to involve this piece sitting here. Now, in order to do that, I've got to be able to turn this piece onto the yellow green or this grey yellow. Let's have a look if this will work. Not yet. So neither of them work. So initially, let's turn this one turn and just see if that will do the job. That's the yellow orange. It's slightly confusing. No. And the one that I want is that yellow green, and I want the pink orange to go into that position of the yellow green. And you can see, yes, that does, because it's actually knocking that out. So that is what I've got now. I've got this set up so that the yellow green, if you remember, I'll put that back to where things belong, goes to the yellow grey. Okay, so the yellow green has got to go to the yellow grey. So how do I accomplish that? That yellow green has to go 1, 2 turns around there at some point. So I'm going to turn, because I'm trying to get the yellow green to this yellow grey, I also need to involve this third piece. So it's really going to be pink orange to yellow green to yellow grey. Simply doing a 3 cycle here. These are now in the correct positions. So I'm going to turn that third piece, bring my yellow grey into contention, then undo, which puts the yellow green where it belongs, undo. Now you can see straight away there is a green piece here and no yellow piece. Because I did not undo both setup moves. That's why. So now that pink blue is back where it should be. The yellow of the yellow green has been placed there, and all of the other stuff is still done. So all that's happening there is a 3 cycle and positioning pieces where they need to be before you carry out the 3 cycle. The next one to do is this other pale yellow. So this is the yellow orange. It's probably more straightforward to have the piece that you want to place up in the top face. So I might even do that. Just think that yellow orange can turn up like that. So I'll involve that piece to there, and I'll also involve, let's see which other one I can use. This green blue is another one. So I'll turn the yellow orange off, put the position down, undo, undo, which puts that piece that I'm trying to place into the center. Okay. Now, again, I can either turn it like that or I can turn it like that, whichever I need. Let's have a think. If I turn it like that, the yellow orange will then turn around to there. That is perfect. That's exactly what I need. So I just want to now move the position around 1 turn, put the yellow orange on, undo, undo. And what we'll see is that all of the yellow pieces at the back are done. The orange is done. And I'm only going to have a maximum of 3 pieces left to place. This piece, and this piece. Let's have a look what we've got. Because I'm either going to have a 3 cycle or a flip of 2 pieces in position. What have we got here? The green blue needs to go there. The orange pink needs to go there. And the grey yellow needs to go here. So it looks like I've got a bit of a 3 cycle. What I have found is that the simplest thing by far is just to place the last grey piece and then worry about the final 2. So the grey yellow, I need that grey yellow to go up here with the grey on top. At the moment, if I turn it like that, it's going to place the yellow grey, but it's going to be wrongly oriented. So that's not really any good for me. So I've got to think, well, how else can I do it? I can't turn this face because that's no good. So I'm going to have to get the grey around to here first. If I do that and then place it, it goes into its correct position. So as I said, I just want to get the grey yellow into that position. So if I turn that onto this one first, or in fact, I could turn the position down and then turn the grey yellow. That's probably even better. So position down, grey yellow, undo, undo. Now the grey yellow is done. And at this point, I'm either going to have these last two pieces solved or flipped. What have I got here? Ah, fantastic. I've got this one flipped and this one flipped. Just convince yourself of that. That's blue, that's green, that's green, that's blue. So that's flipped around. That's a pink, should be an orange. That's flipped around as well. So as I say, this is why I like doing this, because if you don't get flips, you've done them all now. But we do have flips. Now what I have found is that the simplest way to deal with these is exactly the same as I would do on a normal 3x3 cube. And I would do a down, down, up, up, and then replace the piece into its position. So basically, as long as they are in these two positions, which is what I've managed to do, I now want to do down, down, up, up. And then if you think back to a 3x3 cube, I would turn this position around, bring that up onto its position, and then undo, undo. And almost as if by magic, when I do that, all of those circle corner pieces are now in position and solved. So that is my method, my procedure for getting them done. Well, the next stage of the solve is to place the outer corners. And so we're really going to do all the corners first and then all the edges. With the outer corners, it's an 8-move cycle, and it is simply the corner piece series. You can use any 3-1 commutator you like to do it, but it will require that. And I like to get all of one face done and then sort of move up around, because it means the pieces are closer together as I move on. I'm not searching for them anywhere. So I'm going to just do a few pieces here, certainly not the whole lot. Let's have a look. I've got, that's probably not super simple, white, yellow, purple. Let's see if that one can go. That's got to go into this position here. Yeah, that's not a bad setup. So I'm going to do a setup like that, and then what I want to do is actually place this white, purple, yellow into that position with the white coming here. So I'm holding the puzzle with this as my upper face and the pentagon pointing downwards. So not like this, but like this. And I'm looking to either cycle 3 pieces like that or 3 pieces like that. Whatever I do, if I cycle these 3, this one will roll to here in that fashion, exactly like that. This one will roll to here. The other one, I don't know what it does. I don't care, because I only care about either this or this. If I cycle these 3, this one will roll to here, like that. This one will roll to here. And you can see as soon as I've done that, oh look, that white piece is exactly where I need it to be. So that is what I'm going to do here. And because I'm doing these 3 pieces in that direction, I'm going to do what I would call the mirror of the corner piece series. So it is simply an up prime, and a left prime, and an up, then a right, up prime, and then a left, and an up, and a right prime. It's precisely the same thing that I would normally do on a cube. Now I did have a setup there, so I'll undo that setup. The first thing to note is that all of the circle corners are exactly where they should be. The second thing is that is now in position. So I'll do another one here if I can find them. I do like to get the white pieces done. So what I might do is see, can I move this up and then put that in that position? And it looks like I can, and it'll also take the white, blue, red out, which is not a bad thing. So the white, green, purple will go into its position here, exactly the same thing. Okay, that's done. Again, undo setups. You can see there it is. Now the white, blue, red, which just came out, is now down here. And it's got to go into this position. What I would normally do is just sort of turn it up like that. Any single face turn is easy enough to deal with as an undoing. How does that look? Ah, good. Yeah, perfect. So I'll show another method that I would use here as well. And that is, ordinarily, if I've got a puzzle here, I've got the white, blue, red, and it's got to go directly opposite. So that white has to go on this opposite face here. What I can do is simply 3 down, down, up, ups. And I'll involve these 2 pieces as well. And it will place into that position. So down, down, up, up. You can see the first one of them, it puts it in, but it's twisted. So down, down, up, up. Second one takes it out. And the third one puts it in, and it's oriented as it needs to be. That is now done as well. Now, I did have some setups. I wasn't really paying attention to what I was doing, so I just need to ponder now. I think this was one of the face turns, so let's have a look. Looks like that. Is that right? I think that's right, because they're all back together. Which means the last one. Okay, that's looking good. Thank goodness it wasn't too many more than that. I can't cope with that sort of thing. Okay, let's do the last couple of whites and then I'll skip through to the end. White, green, red is going here. Now, first thing I would check, does that help? It actually kind of does. I can do, in fact, that's a good one to do now because I want to show one with the normal corner piece series if you like. Having said that, it's still going to involve that piece, which is not great. Let's just get rid of that with another setup. So all I want to do is place the white, green, red over here. So these 3 pieces to move. I don't want to knock that one out, so I'll do a clockwise turn of that face before I start. Okay, here we go. That one's rolling down to here. Okay, that's done. Undo that setup and have a look here. Okay, that looks good. Yep, that's 4 of them done. The last one. Okay, it's over here. As I said, I personally just like to get these all done in order, but there's no need to. You could do this one next, this one, whatever you want. Now that is probably too much for me to remember in terms of the setups. So just check that I've got everything back where it should be. Let's have a think if there's any other way I could do this. Potentially, I'm happy to knock those 2 out if it helps. That's not too bad because I can just roll this down like that. So what are the setups? What I'm going to remember here is I've just got to turn the red face 2 turns, I think, anti-clockwise, because that's easy to remember. So 1, 2 puts it there. So that red face needs to be turned 2 turns anti-clockwise. And I'm going to roll this across the back into that position. Done. Red face 2 turns anti-clockwise. That was a good plan. Put that one back. Let's have a look. All of those white outer corners are now done. That's the procedure. As I said, I'm going to keep working through them till I get to the last couple. All right, well, I'm down to my last 3 grey pieces. I've worked my way up. Everything else is done. And I just need to see, I've got 2 options here for the last 3. Either I try and place them and I correctly orient them as well, or I just place them into position and twist any that need twisting. And I'll show you both those methods. So the first one, let's have a look and see if we can get all 3 correctly oriented. Well, I want to check whether any of them just roll into their position. that one, the grey, blue, yellow, well, that's clearly not going to roll across to there. This is actually the only one that's next to where it belongs. It doesn't roll like that, and it doesn't roll like that. So that's out. So the next thing to try is what happens if I, say, do a setup like that. Will that now roll across to there? And you can see, oh, actually, yes, it does. That's fantastic. Okay, so that's rolling across to there. Now, the options that I've got are to try and do this or do this. So the piece that I've just found rolls along the side or it rolls along the back. What I would then have a look at is say, well, if this is the setup, that green color is going to come down to here. That needs to place on the sticker of the third piece that's in the green face for this to all work. Well, actually, that sticker that's in the green face is the grey sticker. So it happens that that will roll really nicely into position. So that is going to place correctly. This one is going to place correctly, and therefore by default, this one will come across and place correctly there as well. So just two setup moves there. I've now got them in position to carry it out. And now that's done, I want to undo my setups. And when I undo this first one, I'll see that, oh, that has gone exactly where it should. And I undo the second one, and in fact, so has the other one. So I've now got 5 greys, and in fact, all of those are done. But as I said, it's not always as simple as that. All right, well, here I've got 3, and let's just say it's very difficult to get setups to get them all done. But I can see that that grey, green, pink will roll across the back to there. I'm just going to put the third piece into that position. I'm not concerned whether that places. I just want this one to correctly orient. So I'll carry out that sequence. Okay, that's done. Undo the setup moves. And what I see is then that that one is twisted and that one is twisted. And you could get, of course, you could completely ignore even trying to roll the first one in and get 3 corners that are twisted. And in that case, you just carry out this routine twice. But what I'm trying to do here now is, because I've got 2 corners to twist, I can actually use the same thing that I would use on a 3x3 cube. I can do 2 up, up, down, downs, and then move the other one in and undo. So I'm going to demonstrate that now. This one has to rotate around that way. So as long as these are on the same upper face, here's what I do. Up, up, down, down twice. That has now been correctly twisted. This was the second one. I'll bring that around into position and do the opposite. So you can see it's got to go this way. And then return that upper face, and they are clearly all done. I had one setup move here, so I can now undo that and they are dealt with. That is how I'll twist 2 corners. Now that leads me to my next stage, which is to place the outer edges. If you like these things here, ignore these circle edges till the end. Again, I personally like to try and get, certain faces done first, but it doesn't matter. There's one that's done. So let's have a look and we'll just see what's obvious here. I've got a white purple, but it's in the wrong thing. Let's have a look. I'll just do one setup there to demonstrate this white red coming down to here. That's going to go down like that. Now all I need is a third piece somewhere that is not on this face to come up into that position. So it could either be a piece here or a piece here, or in fact any piece on that line would do the job. I'll just use this one. So it's very simple. Down, down, up, up. That's it. Done. Let's return that setup and see that none of the corners have been affected at all by doing that. And essentially that's all we're doing. I've already got that white blue. I've got some other whites. I've got a white yellow here. So I would look at if I turn it like that, I notice that the white is going to land here. So that's not really what I want. However, I could happily turn it potentially down somewhere like that. Is that going to help? No. What about even here, the setups? No, it doesn't work straight away, so I won't do it. I'll just find something else. And occasionally I just do go, what the heck? Any order is fine. So I'll just do one more. If I can find any. There we go, blue, purple. That will just come down to there. And then anything else here, to show you, I'll get that yellow, purple involved as well. So the blue, purple jumps there. Replace it with the yellow, purple. Undo, undo. That's in. Everything is still as it should be. And I'll just keep working through that until they're almost all done. All right, so most of these outer edges are now done. And if you end up doing it sort of logically, like I'm doing it, I work my way upwards. So I'll do these lot, and then I'd sort of do these ones across here. Then I'd do these ones, but I would actually leave one not done for a very specific purpose. So I will do these 5 after it, leaving me the 5 on the top and this one here. And this just helps get the 5 on the top done a little bit easier. And what I want is to end up with this one, and really those there. So the first port of call is to do these 2 on the side somehow. So let's have a quick look. I notice, first of all, that the anything that needs to go alongside to where it is can do that by traveling in that direction. So in other words, I move its position up, bring it on, and put it back. So the grey-blue is not really going to work to go here. The grey-green, I could move it to here and then move it to here. That would be perfectly acceptable. But I'll show you what I'll do with the grey-blue first. And that is initially just to bring it down to this position. So I'll sort of cycle it like that, first of all. To put it down to there. And I'll just think the grey comes up here onto the orange face. So I want the grey of the grey-blue to not be there because it's on the same line, but actually to be around there. So when this comes up, it'll be grey-blue, grey-blue. That's exactly what I want. So I don't care about any of these pieces now. I just want to place that grey-blue and ensure it's correctly oriented. Okay, so that is done. Can turn that setup back. That one's in. The next one I want to look at is the grey-green. Let's have a look where it is. It's next door, and it can't just easily go over there. So once again, I've got a choice here. I could move it to there potentially. In fact, I might even do that just to demonstrate the other move. So I'll move it down like that, first of all. And now I've got it so that I can bring it across to here using, say, this one like that. So I move its position up, then move the piece on, undo, undo. All of these are very, very simple moves. So the 2 on the sides are now done. That'll leave me this one, and these 2. So if I can, obviously I'd like those 3 to be the last. So I'm going to see if this one's placed. It's not, but you can see that I can happily place this one over here in the same way that I just did the grey-green. So I will move the position, bring that down, undo, undo. And that's the general technique. So I've now got 2 that are on one particular face and a third one that's on a different face. That's what I need. I can't have all 3 on the same face. Let's have a look what's going on. I've got the grey-orange that needs to go here, the grey-pink to here, and this purple-orange will come back down to here. And this is very standard. It's a very painless way to finish them off because we see the grey-orange will correctly go to that position. Then this grey-pink will correctly go to there. Well, it's impossible if those 2 are correct for this one to be wrong. You can sort of see the purple will come to that position and then down to that position. So it must be correct. So that's the last 3. Just cycle those home. And I've found that doing it like that is quite a bit simpler than getting this one done first and trying to get the last 5 on the grey face done. Normally involves a lot more setup moves, but that's the end of those outer edges. And that brings us to the last stage of this solve, which admittedly is a long stage. and it's to solve the circle edges. Now I'm going to give you a couple, in fact probably 3 different sequences here, and I find they're all useful, and going to go through them one by one, and I'll show you on a solved puzzle. The first one is, well, let's see what it is. All right, well, the first sequence I'm going to take you through is one that was posted on the Twisty Puzzles forum by a user called I and H, 5 letters, IANDH, and this user posted this sequence, and I was a little frustrated with myself because I had been playing around with something very similar and I just didn't actually come up with it. Of course, I didn't have the physical puzzle. I was still looking at P-cubes. Nevertheless, take nothing away from what the user posted. Fantastic sequence. Really nice. It's only 10 moves. Let me demonstrate. So I'll start here. The orange is going to go to the white first of all. So we want to do 2 moves. Instead of just 1 move, we want to do an up, up, down, down. There's the up, up. There's the down, down. So that's pretty simple. Now, what we can do is a slice turn. You'll see there's sort of an equatorial slice here. And if I just do that, you can see what I mean by that. Let's just move this slice 1 turn that way. You can see the outer edges up the top, the outer edges haven't moved, but the inner, because I've moved that slice, the inner circle part definitely has. Now I want to undo. So an up, up, down, down with the right first, and then return that slice. Whoa. Now, at first sight, you might look at that and say, that's an incredible swap of 2 pieces. Of course, it's not really a swap. The orange has gone from here up to here. Has the white come down? Let's do it again and see what else is involved. So up, up, down, down. Do a slice, turn, and then undo. Undo the slice turn. Ooh, and now we see the orange has traveled over to here. So it's actually this piece, and this piece. Really nice positioning for the pieces. Now the fantastic thing about this sequence is this one is always going to be sort of here on the left or here on the right. So you're looking for one of these 2 pieces. Up the top, it's always going to be that one there. However, it doesn't have to be this one. It could be this one, or this one. It can be any of these, and all you do to alter it is just turn the slice however many turns you need to turn it to get the job done. So, for example, if I had this to here, let's say that I wanted to get the white to this orange to, I don't know, a piece over here, like that to the red. What I could do would be to do a setup so that this is positioned, and then I can just move this piece around to there for my slice turn. So very, very versatile. The other thing that this sequence is good for is going backwards. So you could have a situation where you need to do this across to here and this piece downwards. Well, all you do in that case is do the slice turn first and then do your up, up, down, down. So as I said, fantastic sequence. I use this quite a bit during the solve. Okay, so there's no rhyme or reason to which ones I try and do, but obviously for that, I'm looking for something that's down here that's going to turn up to that position or on the other side. So if I was trying to get something on the light blue face, I'd be scanning down this region like that. There's a perfect piece, and you can test it and say, oh, that goes perfectly into position. Okay, so I've got the light blue going up to here. I would then consider whether this piece that it replaces, that white piece, can be turned onto a white face somehow. Where's the white face? I could happily turn that white face up, which would allow me to place a second piece over to here. If I'm really lucky, that color, the pale yellow, would belong down here. It doesn't, that's okay. Getting 2 done is perfectly acceptable. Now the nice thing about this, and I hope I showed, if I didn't, I'm going to here, that you don't have to move this piece to here. It could be to here or here or here. It could be to any of them at all. So if the only position I could get a white face piece 2 was here, that's still okay. Now, if that didn't work, the other thing that I would be trying to do is say, could I put a yellow piece in a third piece position here? I'll just see if there's a nice obvious one. It actually is on that same thing. So I could happily move that yellow piece down to here as a third piece as well. And in fact, that is the perfect move because that will get my light blue done, the white done over to there, and this yellow will come back. So that is the correct move in this situation. So the setup of the pieces is the thing that takes the time initially. Just got to remember, I'm moving this around 2 times. So here we go. It's the first lot of moves. That's placed the blue. Now, need to move that yellow around there. So in order to do that, it needs to come 1, 2, like so. Now, I always get lost with this with the colors. So not often, but sometimes I'll just turn it back and say, hang on a minute, especially because I've got this turned up. I want to be a little bit more careful here and say, well, I'm going to turn that around once and then turn that back. And then I'm going to turn it around again and then turn that back. And then I know that I'm not going to muck anything up. Okay, so now that has been done, where was it actually? So yeah, I think I moved the positioning of it. So I would rather do this and take a little bit of extra time and not stuff it up. Because if you do stuff it up, and I have, you get a lot of pieces that you have to fix up. So it's better to be very, very careful here. Now, where on earth was I? It was that one there, I think. Yes, because that was the white piece that I'm now going to replace. So let's try and hold it really steady. 1, 2. That looks better. The yellow's in position. You can see that now I'm going to replace this white piece back to there and the yellow will come down where I want it to be. Okay. Putting the pieces back from here is very simple. I just keep turning until they look right, whichever way I go. And then, of course, I've got that setup that I can undo. That's a really nice sequence. And let's just find one more example of that before I show the other sequences. As I say, I don't try and get all the whites done or all of a particular color. I just see what's there. For example, I've got a red piece here, which can turn up to that green. Now, I notice that the green slice is right here. That's nice. And it's got a gray piece. So if I had a gray piece on this green face, I'd be very happy. I don't, but I do have a gray piece here. So the other thing that I could do is say the red will go to there, the green will go around here, and this gray will come back here. And so I'll just get those 2 done. And that doesn't involve any other turns. So let's go and attempt that. This time I'm coming up from the right. And I've got to turn this grey piece around to that front position. So just the 1 turn there. And now bring it up the other way. And then return everything to where it should be. You can see that grey piece is now landed there. The red piece is there. So really nice. And obviously you can just turn the slice any number of turns that you require to get them done. Let's have a look at the second sequence. Well, this sequence is one of 2 that I found that involve the corner piece series, and one of them starts with the puzzle with this edge pointing straight at you. The other one starts with the puzzle with a face pointing straight at you. So sequence 2, this one I'll do because I use this more than the third one. And what I want to do is begin with a corner piece series. So if you consider what that is, it's an upturn, then a right and an up and a left. It's just involving up, left and right faces. Well, here, this is the up face. This is the right face. This is the left face. So I begin by doing a clockwise turn of the up face first. Okay, that's the first corner piece series. I then want to rotate the entire puzzle clockwise and now do a mirror. Whoops, and a mirror, of course, starts with an up prime. Now, when I rotate it back, again, it looks as though I have a swap of two pieces, and they're nice, they're close. But obviously I don't. I've got a third piece involved, so I'm going to carry this out again to see where that third piece is. So we do that, we rotate the whole cube and do the mirror. And when I turn it back, you'll see that these two pieces were involved, but now it's traveled to there. So it started here, traveled to there, now it's moved to here. That is the three cycle we're looking at, those three pieces. So this sequence I use not as much as the first one, but it does come in handy at times like this when you do just need to get a piece from here up onto this face somehow, or you've got a piece sitting over here that you want to bring back to that face. Now, of course, you can use the mirror for this as well. So you can bring it across those three pieces, no problem. That's how I carry out that one. Okay, so with that sequence in mind, the things that I'm looking for here, if I go from this direction, I've got a yellow piece on the side that I know is going to go to that position. So I'm either looking for a piece there that goes to here, or a piece that's in this position that'll come back to there. Either of them is fine. And the thing about this particular sequence and the next one, it's not quite as versatile as the first one we looked at, because generally it's tricky to get more than one placed unless the pieces are already set up. So I can say, yeah, that yellow is going to go there. Then I've got to be pretty lucky to get a white piece that I can place into that position. Or I am going to be lucky in this scenario, or a purple face to put here. So that is okay, and I will be able to do that, which is good. I'll get two done. I'm very happy with that. So once I've got that set up, got the pieces there, I just carry out, firstly, this corner piece series. Okay, that's done. Again, you got to keep your wits about you and concentrate, because if you don't, forget where you are and you muck stuff up. And now I've got to turn it around one turn like that and do the mirror corner piece series. Okay, that's done. Let's turn it back. We can see there's now a yellow piece up there and there's a purple piece there. When I turn that back, we got two pieces done. So pretty straightforward. Of course, we can do the whole mirror sequence of that. So for that, what I'm looking for is a piece that's sort of next to a face. Let's find one. With this one, this is normally the hardest thing to do, is actually find a piece that is next to where it belongs, particularly when I'm trying to demonstrate it from this side as well. Here we go. I got a green piece here, and if I'm doing the mirror sequence, that's coming up to there. This is going to here, and this one's coming back. So I'd say, good, the green's going to there. I'd then say, do I have a pink position that I can place here? Have a look around. I don't have that pink face anywhere. In fact, it's on the other side of the puzzle. So the other thing is, what about a white? Well, the white can't go back there. So the next thing is, I can't get the pink there. Can I get a red piece to go here? And again, that's kind of tricky, because you sort of turn this up and hope for the best. If that doesn't work, occasionally you can do something like turn that up and then hope for the best, but of course that doesn't work either. So in this case, I'm just going to say, hey, I'm just going to get the green done. That's all I can get done, just to demonstrate this mirror sequence. I'm starting with an anti-clockwise turn of my upper face. Right, now this time I need to turn the whole puzzle. What did I just turn it? Anti-clockwise. And now I do the corner piece series with a clockwise turn. All done, all the colors come back nicely, and you can see, yep, the green's done, not much else. So that is a demonstration of that sequence. Let's look at the last sequence I want to show. Well, this third sequence I'm going to use is almost the same as the second. In fact, it's the same moves really. It's just starting with the face pointing straight at you instead of the edge pointing straight at you. But we're doing the same sort of thing. We've got an upturn here. This time my right and left are these. So I'm going to carry out what will appear to be the same set of moves. Firstly, a corner piece series. And then, again, I want to rotate the whole cube clockwise and do the mirror. Now, when I put it back, again, it appears that I've got a swap, but clearly I don't. I've got a 3 cycle of some kind. So what it turns out is that it's this piece to here, and then the next time this will travel around to there. Now, if you just consider the second sequence where we held the puzzle like this, we had the blue piece go to here first and then to here. This time it's as though the blue piece goes to here first and then to here. So it can be pretty useful just to have this one in your arsenal, just in case you have a situation where they're there. So either these two or these two will be involved, that one there, but it's just a case of making sure that it's being held at the right orientation, I suppose. So I'll carry this out once more just to see this blue piece move across to there. And corner piece series first. Then rotate the whole puzzle and do the mirror. And of course you can see now the blue was there, it's rotated or moved to there. So the third time we carry it out, it'll come back to solved. Okay, so just one demonstration of this one. I've got this pink piece going across to here, and I happen to have a light green piece which is ready to go back there. Quite unusual for 2 pieces to be set up with this sort of sequence, but I'm absolutely going to take it. You remember in the previous one, the piece was here, it went across to here, sort of top position and around to the next position. This time it's going to the left position and around to the lower left position. So, of course, what I'm doing here, and I'm not holding the puzzle like this, I'm just sort of demonstrating this, where the pieces are, but I would be holding the puzzle like this so that I have an edge, not a vertex facing me, pointing out towards me. So I've got the edge. That is still my piece movement. So those pieces that I showed, that's what's moving around. So this one's probably the least versatile I've found, because let's say I've got the pink here going to this position. That's great. Imagine that was not a light green and I was trying to put a light green there. It's really difficult to get one there because I can't turn something up like that because it pushes out this piece, and I can't really turn that because it pushes out this piece, and I can't turn that because it pushes out both of them. So it does involve some setups if you do want to get another piece there. So I tend not to use this one all that much, but let's do it anyway. That is the setup for the hold. This is still my upper face, really doing the same thing as before. So a clockwise turn corner piece series first of all. That's done. Then I want to turn it around clockwise and do the mirror. Okay, and you can see with that being done, everything comes back to where it is. That pink has gone into place, and in fact, that light green, which was here, has also gone into place. So it works fine. It's just, as I say, it's not as versatile as the others. So what I generally tend to use as I'm going through this is the first sequence I showed, and if I run out of easy options for that, I'll have a look for the second one and just vary between those two. Well, that's what I've got to do now. About 100 billion pieces left. I'll cut back in when I'm down to the last 2 or 3. Okay, so I'm down to 4 pieces here. The grey to the orange to the purple to the yellow back to the grey. Now, sometimes you look at this and say, hang on, that's a 4 cycle. That's no good. Something's wrong. But it's not an issue because we have multiple of the same color. So I can, even if I'm down to what looks like a swap of 2, I could just use another color that matches, turn it into a 3 cycle. And that may be what happens here, but this is what I think. It can be really tricky to get these last pieces. So just looking at this, I've got a few options that I could pursue. None of them are easy, but the most obvious one is that orange is sort of primed to go to here, that orange to here, and the purple over to there. Now, you might think, is that really achieving anything? Well, it actually is, because I'm changing it from 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. If that orange goes here and that one goes there, the orange face is done. The purple comes over to here. That would then mean only the purple, the yellow, and the grey. So I'm definitely down to 3 pieces. So that's a really good option. It also, having a look at the purple landing here, I think that, I could do something with the fact that it's here. Those positions are good. Like, they're not all right around the same corner. So that's what I'm going to do first, is get the orange face done, get that purple over there. This is coming from the left, so I'm going to start with my second sequence, and I'm doing an anti-clockwise turn first. Okay, so that's done, and this time I turn it around like that and do the mirror. Turn it back. As I said, the orange face is done. Now I've just got 3 pieces left, and what I'm trying to set up for, normally the easiest thing is the move where we're coming up like that. Let's have a look and see what's what. I've got a purple. In fact, I've got the purple piece, which is that going to come up? It's not really in the right position yet. Could it be made to be in the right position? Maybe, maybe not. What about the yellow? Okay, the yellow's in the right sort of position here. Now, what I'd love to do, again, I could potentially place the yellow there, here, and put the grey over here and leave myself with a grey and a purple. The problem with that, I think, is that this will not be in the correct position. In fact, they're both in the complete wrong positions for this move, and I'm not thrilled about that. So let's have a look. Instead of just trying to get that grey down here, let's see if I can get a 3 cycle going for the last one. What I know is that I can turn that purple piece without affecting the other 2. So I can put that onto the top face, which is pretty cool, because now I can potentially have a look at what needs to go where. The yellow needs to go to that grey piece. The grey comes to here. The purple comes back down to there. Now, all that means, because this is only one setup move, I can very easily see that. I just need to do another setup move to get the grey around to here before I start. And then remember the purple is going to go to where the grey is. So my setup move potentially be like that. Now, before I say, cool, let's get going, let me just put that back for a minute and see. Sometimes what you can also do without having to do those slice setup moves is this position, whether it's here or here, you can turn that bottom face around until it's where you need it to be. So I can do that. And to me, that's actually a bit of a better move. I could probably get my way home from there if I had to. And now I've got the yellow going to that grey. The grey will go to the purple. The purple will come here. Beautiful. Okay. So that is the hard part of this, is just setting up for this last bit. Then we can go ahead and actually carry out the move. Of course, now's the time we don't want to stuff up. So there's the first lot. I now want to bring that purple around. You can see it's going to match the outer edge. So 1 turn, 2 turns. Now undo. I'm not going to be too reckless here. I want to undo the first turn, undo the second turn. That's the position I was at. Now I remember that I did move this around, so I want to bring that back. And now we are back to where we started before we scrambled, this thing is finished. And that's the basic outline of how I would go about solving this. It's a pretty, it's a long puzzle. It's certainly not a quick one. But man, is there value for money in this, because, of course, we can change these 0 centers to 1 face centers. An entire new world of puzzles opens up. But that, for now, is the crazy Pyraminx crystal. I hope that's been helpful. And as always, thanks for watching.